I'm often asked by friends and family, how do you prune your roses? And particularly at this time of year, how do you deadhead them? Well, deadheading is kind of a form of pruning. And in this video, I'm going to show you absolutely everything you need to know about deadheading your roses at this time of year. It's kind of the mid to late June period. A lot of the roses like this one, they've still got a few flowers, but they are generally coming to the end of their first flush. This is everything you're going to need because deadheading is super important if you want to ensure a beautiful succession of flowers in your garden. So keep watching and I'll show you exactly what to do. So the first thing is, what tools do you need? Well, you always need a really good pair of secateurs. These are from Felco. They're the Felco number 2, and they're just a really good all-purpose secateur that I use for all kinds of pruning and deadheading all throughout the year. I couldn't be without these. I think they are the best on the market in my opinion. And you also need something to put all your deadheads in, like this. This is a trug, but you could use a bucket, absolutely anything, an old plant pot. It really doesn't have to be anything fancy, as long as you've collected them up, because we'll also get onto why that's important as well. So the first step you need to do is identify a branch on a rose that needs deadheading. This one's not ready yet, so let's find one that needs deadheading. Before I show you exactly how to deadhead, let's discuss why you need to deadhead. This rose behind me, this is Creme de la Creme, a climbing rose here that I've got on a west-facing wall in my house. It's a rose that flowers really well, and that's because deadheading is done so much on this rose. It flowers very often, and I think you get this amazing flush of flowers a good 3 or 4 times throughout the summer, and that's because of deadheading. When roses produce flowers like these, it has a hormone, a chemical reaction in the plant that knows that it's producing flowers. And when those flowers go over, what's left of that flower head, once the petals have fallen off it, becomes the rose hip. Now, although this rose doesn't really produce rose hips very well, traditionally roses, and roses that these roses were bred from way back years and years ago, hundreds and thousands of years ago, produced rose hips. They only flowered once, and rose hips were food for animals. They were also how the plant would keep its life form going, its lineage, if you like, how it would produce new plants. Now, if you don't deadhead, the rose thinks, I've done flowering, I'm producing rose hips, I've got no more reason to flower. It won't put any more flowers on the plant because the hips are where its energy goes. So if you deadhead, you cut off that reaction, and so the plant is kind of, I suppose, put under stress, and it thinks, I've got to produce some more flowers, and so that's why you should deadhead, because you get more flowers and the plant will flower for longer. So I'm going to show you how to do it on here. We've got this spray of flowers, which is kind of looking slightly to the end of its life, although it looks okay. I'm going to leave that one. This obviously doesn't need deadheading. It hasn't even really flowered yet, but it's this one here that I'm most interested in. Now, a little shake test shows you that some of the petals are coming off. So with this one, I don't need to take all the flowers off, only the ones that the petals have come off. And this is our first tip. So tip number 1, you don't always need to take all the flowers off, just the ones that are going over. So I'm going to pull this down so you can see it more. You can see here we've got several new flowers hiding behind this rose. So all I'm going to do is snip that rose off, and the others that the petals are coming off. And that's it. And we're going to leave it like that because we're still enjoying these flowers. These have yet to come, but I think it's fair to say these are at the end of their life. And this is what I was saying earlier. This is what would become the rose hip underneath here, which luckily won't happen now. But what happens if you need to take all the flowers off? Well, this stem here is a good example. All of the flowers are at the end of their life. So what you have to do is trace the plant back to the set of 5 leaves below it. So the leaves here, it's done it for us. These are only 3 leaves, that's not enough. If you take it right back here and you want to make a cut roughly 2/3 of the way between the old set of leaves here and this set here. And that way, there'll be a new plant. And you can always tell because there should be a little flowering nub just inside this set of leaves. And you should see it should have a little point on it. Sometimes they don't, but we know that the plant is keen to make new flowers because we can see that. So that flowering stem is ready. And in a few weeks or months to come, we should get some more flowers on there very soon. This advice is the same whether you're pruning a climbing rose, a rambling rose, or a shrub rose like this. This flowering stem, once it's finished, I'm going to take it down. This is also part of that stem. So I'm not going to take it back until down here. And that's because although this is a set of 5 leaves, you can see there's 2 stems that are already coming. So if I cut there, it's not going to produce any new flowers from there. It's going to look a little bit messy. The new flowers will come from down here. So when the time's right, I will cut here. You can see evidence of the deadheading method in practice on this stem, because where I've cut, there is a new stem forming with a little flower bud just above it. So it's not going to be long until we get a new flower there. It is, however, worth noting that you should only deadhead repeat flowering roses, those that come back with several flushes. This rose only flowers once, so if I was to cut all these deadheads off, we'd get absolutely no rose hips on it. So if you're not sure to check, do a quick Google image search to find out the variety, and you can do your research from there. I hope you found that really useful. If you did, be sure to hit the subscribe button and press that bell notification so you're always notified every time I post a video. But before I go, I promised I'd tell you why we need to collect up the deadheads. It's a number of reasons really, mostly aesthetics. I think it just leaves a cleaner border beneath the rose, but I also do it because if there's any speck of disease on those petals or on some of the leaves that are around the plant, then it just helps stop the spread of that. And in the winter, I'm also going to do a pruning video because I prune my roses, I think, pretty well. I really enjoy pruning them. And again, it's one of those things I get asked all the time, how do I do it, where to begin? I'll show you all of that in the winter. Thanks for watching.